are so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Tuesday to you. This is the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. And today the plains are burning, cattle are flying off the shelves or the pens, and UnitedHealthcare just blinked. Over 1 million acres have burned this year already across Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Nebraska alone is near 800,000 acres. That's almost 1 million acres just in Nebraska. The Morrill Fire alone ate 643,000 acres, and that is the largest single recorded wildfire in modern Nebraska history. June live cattle futures closed at 253.15. That was up 420 on the day, and that blew straight through the 246 breakout that we called yesterday. Box beef is back to choice over select by 96 cents, so Friday's flip is locked in. And UnitedHealthcare, 2 days after letting their prior authorization deadline expire on roughly 50,000 rural patients, reversed course. They're now exempting about 1,500 rural hospitals and every critical access in the hospital hospital in the country for most medical prior authorization by fall 2026. Anyways, this is the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report. I'm Matt McKinley, your host, and before we get too much further into it, let me tell you about our wonderful sponsors on the show, namely our friends over at Lone Star Stockyards. Let me find the tab. Where are we at? There we go. Okay. Now we are ready. All right, so they just finished up their sale a little bit ago today. They ran about 1,100 head through. Last week was 1,500 USDA report. Compared to last week, feeder steers sold and heifers sold $2 to $10 higher. Demand was good with the CME board in the green on feeders and live cattle. Chance of much needed rain later in the week. Supply included 95% feeder cattle, 74% of them being steers, 26% heifers. Slaughter cattle and replacement cattle, not really enough to really set a trend. Feeder cattle supply over 600 pounds was about 50%. Anyways, head over to Lone Star Stockyards. Every Tuesday they got a sale, 11 a.m. You got to have your cows that need to be preg checked, need to be at the facility no later than Monday at noon. They got the Texas Angus Association feeder calf sale coming up on May 5th. So that's next Tuesday. So that'll be a big run. And if you got any questions over there, please don't hesitate to call them. Bill Martin is the manager, 970-302. 5834. Sheldon Field is the yard manager over there, 806-736-0040. And the office number, 806-677-0777. Let me see what their consignments for next week look like, if they've got that updated yet. Not yet, but for this week they had some. They had 80 100% Beefmaster heifers, 300 head of 350 to 5-weight long-weaned steers. Anyways, they all sold good, coming off of the strong futures showing. So, also on a housekeeping note, please go like, subscribe, share, rate, review, all that happy horse shit, and please head over to burningdaylight.substack.com. You can sign up over there. You'll get an in-depth post on all of the Friggin' Farm and Ranch reports with sources and data, and it's a much more in-depth episode than what I cover live. And then you also get access to the apps that I'm building, including a Man About a Horse, which we'll be referring to today, and the Burning Daylight Report, which I use every day to put this show together and also kind of read the market. All right, let's get into the show. So planes are burning, cattle are flying. All right, so this is, all right, are we on slide 2? All right, market flash. Tuesday close and the cattle complex went completely vertical. June live cattle closed out at 253.15. That was up 420. August live cattle at 248, 825. That was up 345. We called the breakout yesterday on the third session above 242, 875. Today the market said hold my beer, and it ran 8.275 in 2 sessions. So little over $8.25 on 2 sessions. Feeder cattle, May feeder cattle closed out at 372,575. That was up $1.17. And the CME feeder cash index as of April 24th is 369.34. Cash trade was light on Tuesday. No real surprise there. There we go. I know I sound like a boomer, but this is pretty cool, being able to just move myself around, plant my face here right in between these numbers so you can see everything that's going on and still enjoy what I got going on right here. All right. Cash trade was light Tuesday. That was no big surprise. Last week's 5 area weighted average steer hit a record 248.38. Packers and feeders are still feeling each other out on these new levels. June lean hogs closed out at 102.175. That was up 27.5 cents. It was a modest bounce after the profit-taking session yesterday. But grains pulled back, or corn pulled back, grains in general, but May corn closed out at 441. May beans at 11.77 1/4, so that was up 13.5. Chicago May wheat at 623 1/2, that was up 2. And Kansas City hard red winter May wheat 604 1/2, and that one was hammered. That's down 54.5 cents from yesterday's 659. We'll keep an eye on the hard red winter wheat with the plains wildfires and the continued dry pattern. Energy absolutely ripped. West Texas index June contracts over $100 a barrel again. $100 45 cents. That's up 408. The Brent index June contracts at 110.68. So that normal spread between the two indexes, I quoted that wrong last week. Getting some bad info, but I'm up to date. Got the Burning Daylight report humming right now. I think it's getting better. It's pretty good. I don't want to talk it up too much yet because it's not. If it was really that good, I'd be selling the shit out of it, but I'm not yet. But we will be. Don't worry. All right. AAA national diesel average was at 546.1. That was up just a tick from 544.9. Diesel lock that I've been hammering on is holding for the moment, but with crude back up over $100 a barrel on both indexes, that is not going to last. Diesel is a little bit delayed on the crude oil trade, but with it surging like it did today, diesel will follow. On the metals and gold, I think I'm on the. No. Here we go. Metals and gold. June gold was at 47.25. May silver at 38.57. Both still. Let me. So I need to verify those. Let me pull them up on the Vernon Daylight Report, and we'll take a look. All right. Energy and metals. We got gold at 46.0960 and silver at 73.55. Is what I'm showing on my page over here. So the big money players are saying that they're feeling a little better about the market, I think. All right, and then as far as the rates go, nothing's changed there, so we won't spend any more time on that. Let's get into the cattle and beef deep dive. Two big things in the beef today. So one, the box beef inversion is, I wouldn't say it's officially over. That's what my script says, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it invert again. The market's weird right now, and demand is exceptionally high as it has been. As of yesterday's close, choice was at 389.56. That was up 256, and selects at 388.60, up 253. So that's a 96-cent choice select spread. It's narrow, but it's the right side up for two sessions in a row. And the market's behaving like it wants to be a normal market at times, sometimes not so much. Second point is this rally has legs, and that's those legs are called supply. The USDA April cattle on feed. I know we hammer on this, but it is important. April 1 inventory down 1% year over year, and March placements at 1.71 million head, down 7%, and the second lowest March on record going back to 1996. Marketing's down 6%. So there's it's a good market, but like I said, it's you're not a get rich quick market, but if you play your cards right, you can set yourself up okay. I wouldn't say do well, but you could do well. But more than anything, like the market's fairly favorable on the cattle side. Inputs are a different story, but the cattle market is strong. So this breakout from 246 is not a chart party. It's a supply tantrum. The cow herd's at a 75-year low. I had a guy comment on Facebook, I think, and he said I was wrong, and said that cattle was only down 1%. And yes, but that was only 1% from last year, which was down from the year before, and hasn't been this low since like the 50s. So that guy was just flat out wrong. So while he was correct and it was only 1%, that was a year-over-year average and not a total. And long story short is the cow herd is extremely low, and the southern border is short, so we don't have any Mexican steers to run out on grass. And some guys like it like that. I personally, I don't know. It's they're not my cattle, and I enjoyed taking care of them. It was a nice change from spots. But I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's neither here nor there. The fact is that the cow herd is low, and packing capacity is getting crunched as plants start closing down. The packers are hemorrhaging money. Depending on which quote you look at, is $195 a head or 171. Rough. Rounding errors there, but either way, they're hemorrhaging money per head right now. So they're pulling all stops out to try to increase their leverage. At the same time, they're under investigation. So it's a weird market. But I think I think you can really, if you play your cards right, you can do well. So cash hit 248.38 last week, and Packers couldn't fight it. Like they were offering lower bids, and nobody was biting. The June live cattle at 253 says the trade thinks there's still more air under this whole thing. So again, it's you got to watch your hedges, look at the local cash, and it's a don't screw it up market, not a get rich. All right. On the sale barn and horse side of things, I wish they would. I don't know what the hell. Okay, here we go. On the sale barn and horse market, so Lone Star Stockyards there in Wildorado, they ran what was it, 1,100 head today? Yeah, 1,137 head today. So down a little bit from last week, but they got their big feeder calf sale next week, so that is almost for sure to be quite a bit larger on the number head moved. Steers traded 2 to 10 higher, and so that's a reversal from last week's red board, and that's all due to the rally on the futures side. If you got any questions on anything over there at Lone Star, give Bill or Sheldon a holler. El Reno, Tuesday calf trade today. Let me see. OKC West. You know what? I built this whole thing in this chat bot, so I'm going to use it. How many head did OKC West run today? I'm not sure. Let's see. OKC West sale. San Angelo producers last Tuesday moved 3,216 head of sheep and goats, but their cattle, goats, I sounded like a northerner there. Sheep and goats, but the cattle run last Thursday was real light. It was only 314 head. Replacement females are screaming. Beaver County Stockyards there in Oklahoma has running age pairs running up $4,700 a head. Running age bred cows at $4,075. Replacement heifers at 533 pounds brought 303 per hundredweight. And Northern Plains markets are reporting 800 to 900 pound replacement heifers, bringing $2,800 to $3,000 a head. The herd rebuild is real. All right, got the market report for, let's see. Okay, OKC West ran 1,500 head this week. Last week was 4,100 or 9,147. So a big sale last week, not so much this week. Steers and heifer calves mostly steady. Market appeared some higher. However, quality improved from last week and demand was good. Average quality with a few attractive ones. Supply included several bulls and unweaned calves. Guy had a little bit of a cool off and maybe looking for some rain. It was all feeder cattle there in El Reno. 37% steers, 48% heifers, 13% bulls, and 2% dairy heifers. Feeder cattle supply over 600 pounds was 24%. So a lot of lightweight stuff running through El Reno today. Video sale countdown. Superior Livestock has got their big sale coming up on Thursday, April 30th. Over 23,000 head consigned. First big tested demand after their massive Gulf Coast Classic 2 weeks ago with 57,077 head. Western Video on May 1st in Paso Robles. 161 lots on the slate, so that's going to be a good one as well. The horse market's strong across the board. We talked about the NCHA Super Stakes. We also talked a little bit about the Lone Star Spring catalog sale. The top seller, of course, JD Panhandle Rebel at 24.5. Billings Livestock on April 24th through the 26th. They ran 711 head. The top horse was Hick on Time, a finished rope horse, 2017 AQHA Palomino, and he brought 30 grand. On the loose horse market, the top 5 averaged 9,200 and 70 head bought. 70 head brought $3,000 or better. The Heritage Place mixed sale benchmark at 21,106 with an 85% sell through. And over in Houston, the Grand Champion Junior Market Steer named Zinger hit $1.5 million at auction, shattering the 22 and 2024 records. So on the horse side, if you got good females or broke geldings, the market's telling you they're worth pretty good amount of money. So not a bad time to sell horses. I should probably take my own advice. I've got some horses that are sitting idle that I could probably unload for a little bit of money, but I haven't yet. So that was okay. On the energy and inputs side of things, I'll move myself right up here. There you go. Crude went vertical. West Texas June's at $100 and 45 cents. That's up 408, about 4.2% on the session. 4% on a single session. It's a big jump. But that's should be used to it by now. I don't know about used to it, but I come to expect it with this Iran nonsense going on. You're just going to see big swings in the oil market. The Brent crude's at 110.68 a barrel, and the Hormuz squeeze is bleeding straight into the spot market. The war risk insurance for Hormuz transit has gone parabolic. We talked about that, where on a $200 million tanker, it's anywhere from $4 to $12 million a trip just for the privilege of sailing through international waters. Diesel at $5.46 and 1/10 on the AAA national average. Yesterday it was at 544.9 and Friday at 546.5. So it's 3 sessions in a row within a penny. So the diesel lock is holding, but with the crude back over $100 a barrel and Brent at 110, the mechanical lag is going to catch up in about a week to 10 days. So if you have not locked summer diesel yet, I do think this is the time. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a spike again. So keep track of that, and keep me accountable if I'm wrong. I'll also let you know that I was wrong. Fertilizer Watch, DTN's next national wholesale update is going to drop on Friday, May 1st. And the Hormuz description and that fat insurance markup are the transmission belt into urea and the rest of the nitrogen complex. So that's going to be one to watch. So if you do the math, 10 cents a gallon on a full session of haying and hauling, it adds up real quick. All right, let's get into the war reel. We are on day 60 of the Iran not war or war, whatever it is. So day 60 as of yesterday, U.S. seized the tanker, the Majestic X, in the Indian Ocean. Had 2 million barrels of Iranian crude headed for China. So that's 3 tankers in play when you add the Tiffany and the Tuska, and then the IRGC claimed seizures earlier in the war. Iran fired back on the maritime side and seized 2 container ships, the MSC Francesca and the Epaminados, I don't know, and pulled both into Bandar Abbas on April 22nd. On the Hill, a Senate War Powers resolution is aimed at putting a leash on Trump over Iran, and that failed by a vote of 47 to 53, so there's no new leash. Same War Powers, and Congress is really willing to bitch about what Trump's doing, but they're not actually willing to do anything to rein him in, because that would mean Congress has to do some work, and they're not about that. Israel has deployed the Iron Dome battery to the UAE. Strikes continue across southern Lebanon, and Hezbollah is still firing into northern Israel. And also on that note, the UAE has announced, was it last night or this morning, but they announced that they are leaving OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Essentially, it's the crude oil cartel. They decide how much to pump and how to work the market. And UAE says we're out, and what that means long term is yet to be determined. But that is a huge change. It's been 50 years that UAE has been a member of NATO, and it sounds like they're wanting to pump more oil. But OPEC doesn't want to do that, and I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, but that is that's what I got for the war reel, I think. But for the ag, the punchline is simple here. The crude's at $100 a barrel or more. War risk premiums on ships are back at 2 to 6%, and fertilizer riding shotgun on that same freight. Your diesel lock window is closing, and we're paying for every missile and every seizure that goes on over there, and we're paying for that at the pump and your input bill. So, yeah, keep an eye on that diesel. If you got to lock it in for the summer, now's as good a time as any to do it. I don't think it's getting much cheaper. Okay, let's get into some domestic issues here. Okay, so on these are some underreported stories, but UnitedHealthcare blinked after 2 days after letting their prior authorization deadline expire on April 26th, with about 50,000 rural patients potentially out of network. UnitedHealthcare announced it's exempting roughly 1,500 rural hospitals and all critical access hospitals from most medical prior authorization across all lines of business by fall 2026. What does that all mean? I don't exactly know. Does anybody know? I'm not real for sure. The healthcare system here in the U.S. is a real son of a bitch. But they're also promising to accelerate Medicare Advantage payments from 30 days to under 15 days in 5 states, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia, all in the South there. I happen to know a little bit about this scenario because my good buddy Dan Given is a consultant for a lot of rural hospitals, and he's done some work in Mississippi and Missouri and Montana, all over the place. But the timing, though, is 2 days after they let that deadline lapse, and that tells you they've been taking a ton of flack in the press cycle, and they decided they did not like taking that beating. They did not like being made out to be a villain, which, I mean, they kind of earned it. So UnitedHealthcare, remember, this is the Luigi Mangione assassination. That was the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. So the bigger story on this, however, is still real ugly. Around 41% of rural hospitals in the country are running negative margins. 756 are at risk of closure. And UHC carving out prior authorization might keep a few from drowning today, but it does not fix the business model long term. On the broadband side, the House pushed back against the administration. USDA's 2027 budget tried to kill the Reconnect rural broadband program. The House appropriators restored $40 million in their fiscal year 2027 bill. Twin Valley, Kansas just closed a $12.3 million package last Friday. Wires in the ground beat press releases every time. So I guess good on... I don't have a whole lot good to say about Kansas in general. I lived there for a while, but I'm a Coloradan, so... The landscape looked very similar from where I grew up to western Kansas, but I was still in Colorado. On the plains wildfires, let's go a little deeper on that. So over 1 million acres burned across Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma combined this year, with Nebraska alone accounting for about 800,000 acres. And the Morrill Fire at 643 acres is the biggest single recorded wildfire in modern Nebraska history. We are on pace for a generational fire year, and we're not even into May yet. So that means stock ponds are going dry, miles of fence are down, haystacks gone, and a slow motion forage crisis if the pattern does not break. So keep an eye on Nebraska county level disaster declarations and NRCS signups, and all my friends there in Nebraska that are dealing with these fires. Keep your head on a swivel, folks. Stay safe out there. That wind changes fast, and it gets rough out there. So keep your head on a swivel. On the drought update, Lake Powell is sitting around 24% capacity. Lake Mead's at 33%, and Elephant Butte on the Rio Grande is only at 12.6% capacity. The West is really not out of the woods just because it rained a little bit last year. It's pretty dire straits, particularly in Colorado, but a lot of places in the West. So pray for rain. Pray for rain. And then the disaster aid deadline alert. The SDRP, the Supplemental Disaster Relief Program for 2023 and 2024 crop, tree, vine, and hay losses. The deadline is this Thursday, April 30th. Secretary of Ag Brooke Rollins doubled the factor from 35 to 70% in Missouri last week. So if you have pre-filled stage 1 paperwork or a stage 2 FSA 504 sitting on the counter, get it filed tomorrow or it's too late. And then an underreported story that nobody really wants to talk about. You hear about it, but I also don't hear many good solutions about it either. But it's farm succession. Nearly half of all U.S. farmland is set to change hands in the next 20 years. And 71% of retiring farmers have no identified successor. Of the folks who do think they have a plan, only about 20% of those are confident that the plan actually works. And with farmland running about $4,350 an acre, depending on where you're at, but average about $4,350 an acre. Beginning farmers are priced out, and corporate aggregators are more than happy to step in and write the check. And keep a clamp down on that food supply. So there's been programs that have helped beginning farmers, and it seems like a lot of those are getting cut, or at least on the chopping block. And honestly, I don't have a great solution, but it's something to keep an eye on. And then on that same note, the Farm Aid hotline is 1-800-FARM-AID-988. If you are in a mental health crisis, handling with all of this, the fires, the markets, the debt, the family, the wars, and you're starting to weigh you down, pick up the phone, call them, call somebody, call a buddy. And if you're that buddy, pick up, talk to them. So you're a lot more useful alive and on the place than trying to just end it on your own. So don't do anything stupid. On the policy and macro side of things, On the Farm Bill, House Resolution 7567, the Rules Committee gavelled in at 1 p.m. Eastern yesterday, and it quit for the night without setting any amendments. Typical Congress, they did a lot of talking and not much of anything actually accomplished. The hang-up is Chairman G.T. Thompson's pesticide preemption language, which would shield manufacturers from state failure to warn lawsuits, plus a summer E15 ethanol fight. The committee reconvenes today. House leadership still says they want a floor vote by the end of the week. We'll see. That pesticide piece matters because it ties directly into Monsanto v. Durnell at the Supreme Court. Oral arguments were heard yesterday, and Monsanto's lawyer, Paul Clement, leaned hard on FRA's uniformity language and argued that companies cannot change labels without EPA approval. The DOJ also took Monsanto's side, but the justices pressed both sides on what happens when new science shows harm between EPA label reviews. There were MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, protesters outside, and a decision is expected in late June. And Bayer stock plus a chunk of the Farm Bill politics rides on where the Supreme Court justices gabbled that decision in. On the dairy side, the HPAI, or the bird flu, APHIS lifted the interstate testing requirement on lactating cows, moving from unaffected states as of yesterday, so that's good news. The most recent state detection is still Idaho on April 14th, with 5 herds reporting. The screwworm is still only about 90 miles south of the Texas border. The Edinburgh, Texas sterile fly facility broke ground on April 17th and is supposed to be operational by the end of 2026, with the first stage producing around 100 million sterile flies. So that's good news. And as a guy who's not a fan of taxes in general, I think that's probably a well-used, it's a good use of taxpayer money. And over at the DOJ, the Packer probe is still simmering. Wall Street Journal says investigators are zeroing in on how the Big Four buy cattle from ranchers. No named targets yet, no cooperation deal, and the South Dakota stock growers are still waiting on Senate Ag to drag this into a hearing. And the Trump-Xi Jinping summit in Beijing, scheduled for May 14th and 15th, and Ag is right on the middle of the slate, with beef and poultry market access going to be on the in the talks, as well as the soybean purchases. All of it's going to be in that on the table during that meeting. House Appropriations is marking up fiscal year 2027 Ag appropriations today. The money side always tells you what policy really matters. So we'll see how they decide that. But if I had to guess, they're going to side with the Packers and Big Ag because that's where their money comes from. And you know, it's funny. I know most of the audience here is pretty diehard conservative or libertarian or Republican, whatever you want to call yourself, but basically opposite of what the Democrat Party is. And yeah, it'll be real interesting to see what the hardcore Republican MAGA Trump supporters will say when we get boned again by big agriculture. But some of the worst senators in particular come from heavy red states, but they're propped up by Tyson and JBS and Monsanto. All these big ag corporations really, they throw a lot of money around, and well, that money buys you stuff, it turns out. It really does. So we'll see. We'll see if they make any changes favorable for the cattlemen or for the producer, or if they just go ahead and side with the people that send them all the money. All right. let's close this thing on out. All right. So this is what I've been working on with the Burning Daylight report. Reading the herd. So we hit yesterday. Yesterday's cattle breakout call was a third day above that 242.875 low from last week, and third day above it confirmed it. Today's June futures ran another 420 to 253.15, and anybody who put a hedge at 242 last week is sitting pretty good. We hit on the box beef inversion. It flipped. Spreads now choice over select by 96 cents. Second day in a row. We'll see if that holds. And then on the diesel lock, we hit on that. It's still holding 3 sessions in a row with less than right about a penny difference. The window is still open, but it's closing fast with the crude at $100 a barrel. That math gets a little harder every day. All right, and on this day in history, April 28th, 1986, I was not quite a year old. The Chernobyl disaster was first publicly disclosed, but not by Moscow, by Sweden, after their monitors picked up radiation drifting from Ukraine 2 days after the actual reactor explosion. So a little reminder that truth runs on its own timeline. On the sports side, the Triple Crown season is warming up with Kentucky Derby this Saturday, May 2nd at Churchill Downs. Somebody's colt is about to make or break a whole bunch of breeders and bettors year. I'm going to do a little bit of research from the Man About a Horse app and also this little betting engine that I've been working on. And we'll get you some good picks for the Derby later this week. All right, quick little recap. June cattle at 253.15, breakout extended and then some. Box beef on the right side of that spread at 96 cents. Crude is sitting over $100 a barrel. Diesel lock is starting to not be a lock anymore. And the wildfires on the plains, over 1 million acres and counting. UnitedHealthcare pulled prior authorization back from rural hospitals, and the SDRP deadline is Thursday, April 30th. Please file or miss out. The Farm Bill still stalled in rules over the pesticide preemption and the ethanol fight. But that's what I got for you today. That's your read. Get to your sale barn, check out the sale, file your paperwork. And if you'd like to know more about the Man About a Horse app, please let me know, and I will. I'm looking for some people to help me test it out. Make sure that it's good to go. I already had some feedback and got some kinks worked out, but I need some help kind of rating some horses to get our system dialed in, and only can do that with real people putting in real data on that. So if you're interested, you got any questions, please let me know, and I will send it over your way. Or you can head over to burningdaylight.substack.com and sign up there, and then you'll get access to it. So, anyways, if you got any other questions, hit me up, matt@burning-daylight.com, or send me a DM on any of the social medias. Just Burning Daylight or @MoveYourAss. Pretty much every platform out there. So go check it out. Support the show. I do appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see what Wednesday's got for us in the morning, but don't let your butt crack. Stay safe out there and move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.